Your man, Major Bad Association, Big Daddy Badass, holding it down for the VAA and all that. This one is about my beliefs. I know I said I'm atheist before. I mean, I could be borderline agnostic. Doesn't really matter. All that matters is I had a really good conversation the other day with these two people from some church. I don't remember the name of the church. But I was at work and they were going by. They said that they were doing a scavenger hunt. And they asked me for a particular item. And I told them I wasn't sure if I had it. I looked around, didn't really see it at the moment. Then we started having a long conversation. They was asking me my feelings about God, my feelings about religion, things like that. I asked them certain questions. One of the questions I asked them was, okay, so if hell is real, was hell created before man or after man? And they had to sit and ponder and pontificate and think. And they couldn't come up with an answer. I think it's a really good question. Because if hell exists, if you believe hell exists, then that means it has to have been created, correct? Correct. But the question is, before man or after man? If it was created before man, that means God knew that man or his angels at some point would do wrong and they would go to this place of eternal torture and fire and burning. If it was created afterwards, then God knew that a good amount of his angels and his creation, the human beings, would not turn back to him and he would have to torture them forever. Because he couldn't just put them out of their misery and let them end. No, he had to torture them forever because this is just in his eyes. In his eyes, this is completely just. It also brought up the question, where did evil come from? Not why does God allow evil, but where did evil come from? I think that is a more poignant question. A lot of people always say, why does God allow evil? And a lot of people will say, well, you know, he's giving people time to come around to his side so that, you know, it's a fully thought out choice that they make to be on God's side as opposed to Satan's side. But I pose the question, where did evil come from? If God is benevolent, and I mean that in the most ultimate, exalted way that it could possibly be, meaning he's the embodiment of good and of love, then where could evil come from? If not from him. That would have to mean that this... I mean, what would we call evil? That is my Apostle Bunny bouncing around right there. You can, everyone say hi to Baxter. Baxter. My Apostle Bunny. Wait, let's get some light. The Apostle Bunny. Anyways, yes, the question is, where did it come from? It would have to have sprung up by itself then, right? But then that would mean that things can be created without God having to create it. Even if God created Satan and then Satan created evil, that is something, that is a trait, that is a power, that is a feeling, that is an entity that exists outside of God. It's just a question, food for thought. Where did evil come from if not from God? You can't be the embodiment of good, made of love, and want to torture people forever. And want to sit back and watch babies die. And want to sit back and let just quote unquote evil things happen in the world. And you sit back and just wait for people to come onto your side. It doesn't make any sense to me. If it makes sense to you and someone can explain this to me, because I would really love to have an answer to this question, specifically from theists, as to why, well, as to where evil came from, if not from God. Because nothing can exist outside of God, and he was the first, the beginning of everything, before the universe, before earth, before life, before other angels. There was him, and him alone. What? I don't think he likes the fact that I'm raising my voice right now. But this is just something that I'm kind of passionate about because I think it's a really good question, and it needs an answer. Does anyone have one? Put it under there. Write back to me. Make a video. Do something. Say something. Tell me something, because I need to know so that I can have a good answer to my mom when I tell her why I don't believe in the personal God. In an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-good, all-loving being. If you don't stop fucking stomping, he did it on purpose. He's an imposter bunny. He goes against what I tell him to do. Why are you stomping? Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Bye. Imposter bunny!